Hello and welcome to the monthly Q&A. If you'd like to get your question answered in a Q&A like this fun, then head on over to ars.fm/sharmvlog and I will do my best to answer your question as long as it's not too rude. Question number 1. What's the latest thing that made you smile? Well, this question, because it made me think of the latest thing that made me smile, so there's your answer. The latest thing that made me smile is probably I've just got back from taking my little Springer Spaniel out for a walk, and it's absolutely bucketing down at the minute. And there's this guy that walks his dog called Splash, and he's like, imagine just the classic eccentric old writer, and he's got like the sort of handlebar mustache and like a little beard, and he's so sweet. And you know, like when you just get a really good vibe from someone. Suddenly Maggie's gone missing, his dog Splash has gone missing, and I was like, where's our dogs gone? He went, oh, mine went over there. And I said, where did mine go? And he said, oh, I don't know where yours went. And then all of a sudden Maggie's come racing back towards me, and Splash has come racing towards me, and I said, oh, they're back. They went to another land, and they've been kings and queens for tens of thousands of years. And he laughed, and it made me laugh, and so that was the last thing that made me smile. What was your first thought when you woke up this morning? Oh, I think this morning I woke up with a collaborative song that I've recently sung called Time of the Wolves, so I had that stuck in my head when I woke up. This is a bit of an unusual question. In your August Q&A, you mentioned once working at Hall's stable. Did they do artificial insemination at the workplace, if you remember that far back? Right, hang on a minute. Let me just clarify. One thing. 2 words, one thing. Okay, unusual question, and I have no idea. Do you believe in black magic? Not black magic. I believe in a state of mind, and I think there's a saying that if you are looking for something, if you kind of plant the seed in your mind, you can kind of make it happen. For example, if you start looking at the ground, thinking about money or coins, generally you start to see more coins lying about. And it's not that you're getting luckier, it's just that you're noticing them because you made yourself aware to notice that kind of thing. So I think it's equally the same for bad thoughts. I guess an example of that would be, it's all about awareness. So I've started watching a lot of true crime, and I've always been a coward, and I've always been someone who really is very, very weak-minded when it comes to watching horror and things like that. But for whatever reason, recently I started to get into true crime, and I've just gone down this rabbit hole with it, and I've watched so much of it. So now, where before I would quite happily go out in the middle of the night and take a walk, I would never do that now. So it's like a state of mind. It's like black magic, but more becoming aware of black-natured things and light-natured things, if that makes sense. If you could start a collection of one kind of item, what would it be? Is a dog classed as an item? Because it would be dogs. I would love to just have a load of dogs. I'd collect them. Anyone's dogs, anywhere, strays, rescues, babysitting people's dogs, just I would love to collect dogs. You guys know how I feel about dogs, right? How to deal with envious people? It depends on what you mean. So if you're asking how to deal with envious people towards yourself, then I guess it's really not something that you need to deal with. It's down to them to deal with their envy. But me being someone who in the past has been an envious person, the one thing that I found that really, really helped to kind of get over that envy is to just not go near that thing that's making you envious, and just kind of completely make it go away. Like, that sounds really bad. That sounds true crimey. But I mean kind of cut it out, and that sounds even worse, doesn't it? But just, if it's a person and you're following them on social media, for example, I found the best thing to do was to stop following them, stop watching their things, stop, you know, reading their bits and pieces, because it can just fuel the envy. And envy is something that I feel is, you get over it better if you cut it off if you get rid of it completely. So my advice would be, if you're feeling envious, don't go and look at that thing that's making you feel envious. Just don't look at it for a whole month. I guarantee you'll feel better. What are you a natural at doing? I'm definitely not a natural at singing. Singing, and it frustrates me when people say you've got a gift to talented people. Oh my god, that sounded so big-headed. I didn't mean it like that. So to creative people who work hard at what they do, and then for someone to call it a gift, is frustrating, because we work hard at what we do to get to where we're at, and it's still hard even when you work hard at it, and it's always a journey. It's never ending. There's never an end. It's not like there's the present and there's your gift, there's your present, it's all unwrapped and you're good to go. That's not how it works. So I'm definitely not a natural at singing. I feel like I'm quite natural at reading people and understanding their true intents and purposes. Is that a saying? Their true intentions. And just, I get a good read on people, and I get vibes, and I always go with my gut, and my gut has led me through life pretty much 100% correctly, and I always listen to it now, because it's a very natural thing, and it's never put me wrong before. What would you like to achieve in your life? That's a really difficult question, because there's lots of little things that I want to achieve, and there isn't really anything big anymore. I know this is going to sound kind of... Okay, so one thing that I know I want to achieve is to pass my driving test. I've got my third one coming up. It all got put on hold because of coronavirus, and driving gives me anxiety and it stresses me out, but I really want to have that under my belt. I want to know how to drive, and the only reason I want to be able to drive is to be able to get you into the hospital and to help people if they need to get to appointments and things like that, because in the past we've had situations where Ian needs to get to hospital and I can't drive, and we've had to rely on other people, and it's embarrassing and it's concerning that I wouldn't be able to be there for him if he needs me to get him to hospital. So that's like the only reason that I want to drive, and I have to get it done. I've spent thousands of pounds on learning since I was like 17 through till now, so I can't give up. That's something that I definitely want to achieve. But one of the main things that I also wanted to do was to sing at a Blizzard convention, and that's happened. And even though I tanked, I don't let that bother me, because it was such an amazing experience, and I'll never forget. It was so funny because after I'd performed, I went backstage, and obviously I hadn't been able to hear my performance, so I thought I'd done okay, and it was okay. Like, the room audio was probably okay, but listening back to the actual way it sounded, I was all pitchy because I couldn't really hear, and I lost my support on my highest note because I was shaking so much. But I remember afterwards going backstage on the buzz. I was proper buzzing, and then they called us all back up on the stage again, and I remember standing there kind of just going with the flow and thinking, oh, this is amazing, I'm up on the stage and I've got Have No Fear stood next to me, it's so cool. And all of a sudden they were like, oh, and now we're going to announce the winners of the talent contest, and genuinely I was like, oh yeah, I forgot they were going to do that, because I was just having the best time. I actually forgot I was on stage for that reason. So that's something that I've achieved now, and I just feel so grateful, and I just feel like that was one of the biggies on my bucket list, and it's done, and hopefully I'll get to go back again, and hopefully, fingers crossed, this year I'll be able to get into the talent contest again for the BlizzCon line, which I'm so hyped about. I can't wait. How can you change the world? I feel like a lot of these questions are quite mega in this Q&A. Karma, what goes around comes around. I think it's that same old thing. If you smile at someone in the street, then they'll feel good and they'll smile at someone else, and it will slowly have this little ripple effect all around the world eventually. And imagine if it actually got back to like patient zero, like the first person that did it, and then someone smiles at you and you're like, oh my god, is that because I smiled at someone 10 years ago and now it's made its way around the world and got back to me? Why is the sky blue? I think I know the answer to this one. And if I'm wrong, then this is going to make me sound like such an idiot, but I think it's because when you look up, the sky is blue, and Oh no, I know the answer to why is space black. Basically, the further up you go, the deeper the hue, because you're getting further away or something, and light. I don't know. Do you know what? I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer as to why is the sky blue. What are some of the most unusual or interesting things you do to amuse yourself when you're bored? So aside from like gaming then, I guess, I sit on my phone a lot and play just like really mind-numbing games, and I tend to do that a lot. I probably spend about 3 hours a day on my phone. Not 3 hours, maybe 2 hours. And I'll just play like those tile games. So that's kind of, I mean, it's not unusual, is it? Sometimes I like to annoy Maggie, and I'll just sort of go downstairs and annoy her, and she loves it. She's a dog. They love everything. You can't do anything wrong by a dog. She's got a nice little, I call it her treat ball, and it goes, when you turn it upside down and shake it around, it goes, and I've got these little treats, and I cut them up and I put them in there, and this is how clever she is. She's learned that if she nuzzles it with her nose across the floor, treats come out of it. So I just watch her doing that. That's interesting and amusing. Anyway, that is it for this month's Q&A. If you'd like to get your question answered in a Q&A like this one, then head on over to us.fm/Sharmalade, and I will do my best to answer your question as long as it's not too rude. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Stay safe and stay well, and smile at someone. You never know, in 10 years' time, that smile might come back to you.